Hey everybody, I'm back. A little later than I expected to shoot this. It turns out this is actually the longest of any of the things I've watched in the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. This is a 2.5 hour documentary about the birth and the gestation of the Star Wars saga. At least the original trilogy, I should say. It barely touches on the prequel trilogy. I mean, you see a few tiny scenes at the very end. Uh, Despite the fact that this was created in 2004, and it means they're well into the trilogy, well into the prequel trilogy at this point, and probably didn't mention it because there was a whole lot of backlash and negative attitudes about it. But ignoring that, this is a fascinating documentary. Tons of fun bits, uh, and some high drama in the life of George Lucas and the people who worked with him to create something that went against every conventional process in Hollywood. Uh, to this day, he's technically still a independent filmmaker who just eventually ended up running a corporation based on that independent filmmaker spirit. Um, and in all honesty, this is a 2.5 hour film, and the first half of the film is taken up. It actually the midway point is actually the premiere of the original film. So you can tell just how much detail goes into this. A lot of you have probably already seen this somewhere before. I'm feeling I've seen it before. I checked to see all my other versions of the discs that I have. I didn't check all of them, but I checked like the Saga set that has the first 6 episodes on it. That doesn't have it, as far as I could tell. I went through the whole thing, but if you need more Star Wars in your life, and you want to prep yourself for the Rise of Skywalker, and you want to see where it all began, where all this where all of this started beyond. It shouldn't have happened. Let's just say that, with everything set against George and everybody else that was working with him, and even his friends, Francis Ford Coppola and Steven Spielberg and everybody else. They Not all of them were completely on board or completely sure that what George was doing was going to be anything close to a hit, and even he didn't believe that it was going to be the hit it was. He just hoped that he would, maybe make enough to be able to tell the entire story, make more films and have more control over it, have absolute control over it, which not many filmmakers get that in Hollywood, certainly not at that time. Uh, One of the great things about this that you're going to get to take a look at is all the alternate. There's not all. You'll see a lot of alternate takes, a lot of moments that well, really well, and you get to see uh, the way they sounded on the day that they shot them. Chewie, saying his lines. Peter Mayhew saying his lines in the Chewbacca suit. Uh, this old man is crazy, or something along those lines, and Han reacting to that. Of course, later on, that would be overdubbed with a Wookiee growl or whatever. And But it's kind of funny to hear Chewbacca speak and Han Solo responding to it, and you kind of know now what Chewie was saying, in that moment. There's all sorts of other takes, just especially intercut with commentary from Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, and Carrie Fisher. Uh, it's heartbreaking to see Carrie. She tells a lot of the stories she's told many times. I've seen her when she's spoken at Star Wars Celebration and things. Uh, but she tells a lot of the same jokes, but it's intercut with scenes that back up what she says, and it's kind of neat to see what she was reacting to when Alderaan blew up, things like that. So it's really funny. It's scary that so many things were working against it, and it just was. It's amazing it ever got made. It is absolutely astounding it ever got made. I know I said that before, but this movie will show you that to you. So if you are a Star Wars fan, or even if you're a mild fan, even just still interested in how the conditions that made it possible for George to do what he did don't exist anymore. They didn't exist before that moment, and they don't exist after that moment. There's a whole new way of people to make films these days because of George Lucas, because of what he and ILM and Lucasfilm and everybody else have been able to do to create the technology that created Pixar, that created, Skywalker Sound, that created all these things. They've made things that have allows me to, as I'm shooting this right here on my phone, to have him in the background, and I'm in focus, and he's in focus. It's just the dumbest little things that we take for granted today. Whether it comes to movie making, if I wanted to make a movie with this phone camera right now, I could do that, and I could edit it together on the phone, and then I could release it on the phone. It's kind of astounding that. Yes, somebody else could have come along, and that technology would have come into play at some point in the future through some other means. It was always going to happen, more than likely, one way or another. But the existence of Star Wars and the existence of how the process of which he got it made has an influence on just about everything we do today, especially when it comes to entertainment and creating things that. Even to talk about the things we love, which is Star Wars for me. So this was a very awesome moment. It was crazy that it took me so long. I had to actually watch it while I was working on another project, and half the time I didn't get much done, but because it draws you in. So if you're a big Star Wars fan, you gotta take some time to watch this, especially in the lead up to Rise of Skywalker. And there it goes. Come back, George. Okay. So I think it's time to pick our next one. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. All right, we're going to pick a number between 1 and 768. Yesterday's was 156. By the way, this is called Empire's Dreams, the story of the Star Wars trilogy, and 148. This is really close. I'm not going to have to scroll far. 148, right? That's at 148. 148. I'm so tired. Hey, you know what? I haven't seen this movie yet. It's from this year, from 2019. And what I'm going to get to finally watch is Tim Burton's Dumbo, 148. So hopefully this is actually on the system right now. Because, the last few times I've tried, as you might have seen, hopefully if you're following along, it didn't work out. No, a friend of mine has actually said, yeah, he's watched Dumbo already on Disney+. So it's there. That's what we're watching next. And hopefully you'll watch along with me, and we'll meet back here tomorrow. See you later.